Good morning, everyone. This is Ankit Mudgil, and this is my research for Masters in Cybersecurity at NCI on evaluating open source SIEM tuning effectiveness in small and medium-sized enterprises. I'll be walking you through both research findings and live demonstration for the Wazoo implementation. And first of all, I would like to thank Miss Khadija Hafiz as she was my supervisor and she was very brilliant in her guidance and she guided me through the entire practicum part two. Thank you. Let's move on to the next part. Yeah, so the SME cybersecurity challenge. Let me start with the problem that this research addresses. According to 2024 reports, 60% of the ransomware attacks in Europe were targeted to the SMEs. These organizations need security monitoring, but commercial SIEM solutions cost between $10,000 to $50,000 annually, often beyond what a smaller business can justify on these kind of costs. There's also an issue for alert fatigue. In the research paper by Proofpoint 2023, the report found that 67% of the security professionals say excessive alert can impair their effectiveness. So even when the organizations have monitoring tools, they often are very overwhelmed by the volume of the notification that they get. So as this was the research on that, the main research question. This led to the central research question that is can open source SIEM with like Wazoo can be effectively tuned to provide practical security monitoring for SMEs? Well, while doing that, I developed three hypotheses. First, the systematic tuning that would reduce the benign positives alert by at least 15%. The second one, that is reduction that this reduction would improve the operational efficiency. And the last and the third one, that the implementation would require under 40 hours of practitioner effort, making it accessible to a typical SME IT staff that can implement this framework. This theoretical framework draws on signal detection theory for understanding detection trade-offs and cognitive load theory to explain why alert overwhelmed can impact analysts' performance. So let's move on to the next slide, which is research methodology. The study used a quasi-experimental before and after design with two separate environments. The live production environment, which was based in a proper SME company. The name of the company was Fraser Valley, India, and in their network there were 67 systems, all were Windows, in a real Active Directory environment. So this provided authentic enterprise data. The second one, the second environment was a laboratory environment for consisted of seven virtual machines, allowing controlled validation of methodology. So across both environments, I collected approximately 30,000 alerts and manually classified around 300 using random sampling and categorizing each as benign positive, true positive, or false positive. So this is the Wazoo SIEM architecture. As you can see, yeah, there you go. The architecture follows a standard Wazoo deployment. Windows agent forward logs via TCP 1514 to Wazoo Manager running on Ubuntu 2404 or maybe on a Linux. But in my case, it was Ubuntu. The Manager API operates on port number 55,000, and the dashboard is accessible via HTTP on port 4443. Let me show you the system in operation. Here you go. So this is the live Wazoo dashboard. You can see the status indicator showing the system in fully operation. Let's go to the alert section. Yeah, agent. Yeah, this is the agent section. Sorry. So these are the connected Windows endpoints. Each one shows an active, regular heartbeat communication. So let's select one, and these are the selecting an agent displays its details, operating system, agent version, IP address, last check-in time. This confirms the agent was communicating properly with the manager. Let me run to the side to explain, and we run to the slides to explain what we found during the baseline analysis. Yeah, here you go. So the implementation timeline. The implementation followed a structured timeline of almost 33 to 35 days, requiring approximately 40 hours of effort for the practical implementation. This covered installation, configuration, baseline collection, systematic tuning, and post-tuning validation. At typical SME IT rates, that would translate to roughly 2,000 euros in labor cost. So that's a very nice deal as compared to the 10,000 to 50,000 deal that we got from the proper commercial tools. So the baseline results. The baseline results clearly illustrated the alert fatigue problem. 94% of all result alerts were benign positives. The system correctly detected activity, but it was routine operations requiring no security response. Only 6% of were true positives, representing the actual security events that needed some attention. This creates a ratio of 15.7 to 1 for a genuine alert. An analyst must review 16 benign ones. So three rules were responsible for 69% of all alerts using log of events, SCA compliance check, and all classified as benign positives. Let me show you the alerts in the system. Yeah, this is the live system. Here you go. No. Yeah. So here you go. In the threat hunting module, I'll filter for a specific alerts that we analyzed. These these are rule 60135. Yeah. So the user log of events each represents user ending their session during normal business hours, legitimate activity, but generating constant alerts. So you can see the details here: timestamp, username, user account, workstation, routine activity that contributes to the alert fatigue. So these are SA compliance checks, rules like 19,007, 19,008. The systems run automated policies that can scan for every few hours, generating alert each time, useful for initial assessment, but continuous alerting creates a significant noise. That is one of the things that we are trying to reduce. So this is what the tuning process needed to be addressed. Well, let's go back to the presentation. Hey, go. Okay. Yeah. Systematic tuning interventions. Okay. Yeah. The tuning approach targeted high volume benign sources while preserving detection coverage. First, I disabled the automated SCA compliance scans after establishing the baseline. These were generating 40% of all the alerts. First, I implemented the time-based filter for 60137 and user log off during the business hours are expected. So these were suppressed from 8 to 6 p.m. while maintaining off hours alerting. Then third, I disabled the Linux audit module since it was only the Windows machine environment. So the fourth, I adjusted the severity level. The routine services events lowered, a security detection like Windows Defender elevated. So all changes were implemented in incrementally with document rollback procedures. Let me show you this configuration. There you go. So I think you can see the offset configuration. This is the entire configuration. The In the management section, you can see the module configuration. These changes were applied. If I can show you the if I am yeah. So the file integrity monitoring remained fully enabled throughout. This tracks the changes of critical system modification that could indicate compromise. The approach was selective reduction and not broad disabling the entire infrastructure that we created in the first place. So let's go on. Yeah, results before and after tuning. So the results demonstrate a significant improvement. The benign result positives decreased from 94% to 79%, a 15% percent reduction, meeting H1 target, the hypothesis one, if you remember. The true positive increased from 66% to 17%, representing 183% relative improvement in threat visibility. P to TB ratio improved from 15.7 to 1 and went up by 4.6 to 1. That is 71 reduction in noise, 75% of course. The analysts now face far fewer benign alerts for every genuine event security related. So that's importantly the last point. The false positives remained at zero throughout, confirming that detection accuracy was preserved. So let's move on to the statistical validations. Of course, the statistic, the, the statistical analysis confirms that these results are significant. The chi-square test yielded a value of 5.401 and the p-value of 0.021201, well below the zero point 0.0 threshold. Cohen's H of minus 0.397 indicates a medium to large practical effect for the dual environment validation. Comparing production and lab baseline gave 0.515, not significant, but this is expected. This is the expected result. It comes, it confirms that virtual environments, actually two environments showed equivalent baseline behavior. Meanwhile, meaning the present alert patterns derive from the default configuration rather than the organization scale. This validates the methodology in generalization is generalizable. Thank you. Then go to summary table. Yeah. As you can see, this table consolidates the findings. The baselines 94% benign positive, 6% true positive, lab validation 95% and 3% respectively. Statistically equivalent to production. Post-tuning 79% benign positives, 17% true positives. All positives across all 300 classified alerts confirmed detection integrity was maintained. So the slide number 2012, cost benefit. The cost implications are substantial. Bazoo has zero licensing cost with approximately 40 hours of implementation process efforts. The total investment is around 2,000 euros. But the commercial alternatives range from 30,000 to 150 over 150,000 euros over 3 years. Then that's 10 to 15% of commercial cost for comparable detection capability that properly tuned. Practical recommendations for SME. Well, there aren't many, but based on this research, I would like to say some practical recommendation for SME. First, test in a lab environment before production deployment. Recognize a tuning in continuous process. Set realistic expectations. Address the noisiest rules. Target high volume benign sources. The key insight that SMEs with standard IT staff can achieve meaningful results using this structured approach. Limitations. I want to acknowledge the study limitations. That was SME contact, and this was a single SME context. The results may not generalize across all industries. Only Windows endpoints were monitored, but no Linux agents were involved or deployed. The 33-day time frame limits conclusions about long-term effectiveness and manual classification by single reviewer introduces potential bias. Future research should include a cross-industry validation actually, and longitudinal studies over months or years and exploration of automated classification methods. So in conclusion, I would like to say uh, in conclusion, this research demonstrates that the open source Wazoo can be effectively tuned for SME environments. The key findings 15% reduction in benign positives, 183% improvement in true positive visibility, and 71% reduction in noise, all achieved within 40 hours of effort, approximately 22,000 euros of investment. So the dual environment validation supports the methodology generalizability. SMEs no longer face a binary choice between expensive commercial solutions or inadequate security monitoring. Wazoo provides a viable, cost-effective path to enterprise-grade visibility. Let me show you the operational system one final time. So just give me a second. This is the complete detection system. Yeah, there you go. This is the complete deployment, a full operational SIEM is protecting a real business network. The system is not monitoring Windows endpoint, collecting security data, security events, security logs, and generating an actionable alert that would rather be an overwhelming noise. This is what this is what a practical, affordable security monitoring tool looks like in for SMEs. So, in conclusion, this is the conclusion. The noise reduction is 70 by 71%. The investment is around 2K for the total cost. Bottom line, no longer SMEs no longer face a binary choice between expensive commercial SIEM or no monitoring. Wazoo provides a viable and cost-effective path to enterprise-grade security visibility. So, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. This research shows that with systematic tuning methodology, open source SIEM solutions can deliver enterprise grade security monitoring at a fraction of a commercial cost. I welcome any questions about methodology findings or practical implementation. Thank you.